O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. So imagine treating the human soul like a mechanical engine.
Right, like an engine you can just turbocharge with the right fuel.
Exactly. No poetic mysticism, no, spooky chanting, just pure applied science.
And that is exactly what Marco Daffi did. He was this aristocratic Italian magus in the 20th century.
Yeah, and today we're exploring his methods using David Pantano's translation of alchemical hermeticism.
It's intense.
Right.
The secret teachings of Marco Daffi on initiation.
So intense. I mean, even the cover of the book sets the tone right away. It's this stark black, white, and gold image.
With that crowned female entity, right?
Yeah.
The one with the two entwined serpent tails.
Yes. And the text actually points out that this isn't just like a cool aesthetic choice. It's an initiatory mandala.
Right. So just looking at it is supposed to actively prepare your brain for this rigorous spiritual metamorphosis.
Which makes sense because Daffi completely rejected the spiritual alienation of the modern world.
Totally. He didn't want any of that passive contemplation stuff. He treated Hermeticism as an exact hard science.
Which means he needed a laboratory, but an entirely internal one, right?
Exactly. So if you've studied alchemy, you probably know about the wet path.
That's the slow, natural dissolving of the ego. Yeah.
But Daffi had zero patience for that. He was all about the dry path.
Right, using sheer willpower and active psychological pressure.
Yes, using forceful intellectual penetration to just spark these sudden flashes of realization.
I kept thinking of it as like high-intensity interval training, but for your soul.
That is a perfect way to put it. You're forcing adaptation through extreme stress.
And he used this technique, hermetic semiosis, where you basically violently strip everyday symbols down.
Right, to their absolute primitive essence.
Like instead of looking at a tree and feeling all connected to nature, you mentally reduce it to raw geometric growth patterns.
Yeah, until the sheer friction of doing that triggers a flash of genius.
But forcing those flashes must burn like a massive amount of mental fuel.
Oh, absolutely. He needed a sustainable energy source for this internal laboratory, which brings us to his tetratic principle.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, Daffi viewed the human system kind of like a four-story building. You've got the physical basement, which is the Saturnian level.
Okay, making sense so far.
Then above that is the lunar level, the fluid, emotional stuff. Then the mercurial level, which is the active intellect.
And finally the penthouse, right, the solar, divine level.
Exactly. And to pump energy from that physical basement all the way up to the divine penthouse, he had to radically redefine human relationships.
This is where it gets wild. Because Eros, for him, isn't about romance at all.
Not even a little bit. He saw it as a literal, quantifiable magnetic power circuit.
Wait, so does that mean he basically viewed human attraction as just an energetic battery?
Basically, yes. Positive and negative terminals on a battery. He was transmuting raw biological desire to get the high voltage he needed for his occult experiments.
Wow. Just stripping all the romance away to power his internal lab.
Right. But building a system that cold and mechanical requires immense rigid psychological control.
You have to view reality as a machine that you just master from the top down.
Exactly. But that top-down arrogance actually created a fatal blind spot for him.
Ah, the trial of the Magus.
Yes, Il Processo del Mago.
Yeah.
It was this massive public scandal.
Because underneath all that cold mastery, he had this really deep neurosis. He believed he was an incomplete avatar, right?
Yeah, he thought he was carrying this ancient, catastrophic karmic guilt from a past life in Egypt.
And then a charlatan named Puglisi comes along, sees this vulnerability, and scams him.
Scammed the Baron out of a massive chunk of his fortune.
Right, claiming he needed the money to fund high-level rituals to clear that ancient guilt. But I have to push back here. How does a master of, intellectual penetration get conned so easily? Is it like a brilliant tech CEO falling for a phishing scam?
That's a great analogy.
Because it targets their absolute, deepest, most irrational insecurity.
Well, it goes even deeper than a phishing scam. Daffi wasn't just tricked.
What do you mean?
His entire philosophy required him to treat reality as these occult transactions governed by rigid hierarchies.
Oh, so Puglisi just spoke his language.
Exactly. He exploited the transactional system Daffi was already hardwired to believe in.
Wow. Proving that absolute metaphysical genius can sit right next to crushing psychological vulnerability.
Terrifyingly close, yeah. But that frailty makes his teachings feel so much more grounded and intensely human.
It really does. And it explains why his intellectual heirs abandoned that isolated, solitary magus model.
Right. His successor, Gianmaria, saw the danger there and formed the Corpo dei Pari, the body of peers.
That was the non-hierarchical 12-person hive mind, right?
Yes, they completely decentralized the power. They worked together with total equality to realize the Adam Kadmon.
The cosmic man, basically trying to restore human consciousness to a unified state.
Exactly. Moving away from the lone genius who is susceptible to being scammed toward collective realization.
Which really brings it all back to your own inner laboratory.
Definitely. Because Daffi believed linear time was basically an illusion.
Right. He treated past life trauma as an active bleeding wound in the present.
And even if you don't believe in literal reincarnation, there's a huge lesson there.
Absolutely. So for everyone listening, think about this. What unresolved ancient histories from your own past might be secretly architecting the choices you make today?
Are you objectively reading the reality in front of you?
Or are you just staring at your own initiatory mandala, waiting to finally decode it?